Hello, this is Jessica. It's been a very long time since I made a video. However, this video is different. Um, I am making this video about the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship Program. It is part of my follow-on project. I did do a presentation at my school um, for Black Student Association and the Emoji program. However, I forgot to film it and take pictures. So I'm making this video to basically get my follow-on project done, but also to inform my viewers and anyone else really that is looking on how to study abroad and they can't afford to. I'm making this video for them so you can know of a really awesome option to be able to do that. So again, although this is part of my follow-on project requirement, this is a great opportunity for a lot of people. So what is the Gilman Scholarship Program? It is a scholarship funded by the United States Department of State that helps students with limited financial ability to study or intern abroad. The Institute of International Education has been administering the program since the inception of the scholarship in 2001. And if I look down, it's because I have notes. Gilman encourages undergrads to study or intern in STEM-related research and study languages, especially those deemed important to national security, like Mandarin, Japanese, Korean, and languages that aren't typically spoken in the United States, but there'll be more on that part later. Veterans are most definitely encouraged to apply, and they're given preference over other applicants. So if there are any vets watching this, please go for it and fill out the application and do the essays for Gilman. Gilman aims to help those in underrepresented communities for education abroad, so they have the chance to experience international education. Like first generation college students, ethnic minorities, students with disabilities, students that study at HBCUs, students attending community colleges, those from rural and small towns, and many more. The award for Gilman Scholars. The scholarship award is up to $5,000 for the Gilman Scholarship. And how much you received is based on your financial need, according to your advisor, so the applicant's advisor for their study abroad program. So it'd be the advisor you have for your study abroad program at your school. And your financial aid information. So you would definitely have to have filled out your FAFSA for this one. The length of your program, the overall cost of your program, and the strength of your application based off of your essays. The funds are provided to you by Gilman, and they can only be used for eligible costs such as tuition, room and board, flights, with exceptions. The flights can only be on airlines that fly the U.S. flag, so American companies like United, American Airlines, things like that. Local transportation costs, passport and visa fees, and on the Gilman website there is a list of eligible fees, and I will try to put in as many screenshots and screen recordings of the Gilman website as possible, so you can see where things are and how to find the information. So, and also, so like, if you're confused, you're doing the application, or even if you have been accepted and you don't know what fees or what things are eligible costs that you can do or pay for using your scholarship money, um, it'll have a list. It's in a PDF file that'll show you what is and is not eligible. Another great thing you get for becoming a Gilman Scholar is a NCE, a non-competitive eligibility for federal employment. So Gilman Scholars are eligible for 12 months of NCE hiring status with the possibility of an extension, where all you would need to do is meet the requirements for the position and fill out the application and a resume and have your resume. That's kind of basically what it is. So if you are interested in getting a federal position, that is always an awesome little boost for you, especially with how hard it is to get a job nowadays. So the deadlines for the Gilman Scholarship, there's 2 of them. So the first one is in March, so that one has passed. And you have a deadline for your application, which you would fill out with your information, your 3 essays, and your proof of citizenship, all those things. And then I think there's about a week or 2 weeks later where there is a deadline for your advisor, your program advisor, to give the information they are required to give. So the second one, oh, and for the March, that application is for programs that start between May 1st and April 30th. And then there is the October deadline, and since October hasn't come yet, the October deadline is on the 10th of October 2024 this year. And those are for programs beginning between December 1st, 2024 to October 31st of 2024. And then the deadline for your program advisor is the 18th of October. So just to remember, just for you guys to remember, especially if you're on the East Coast or the South, or you're in Central or Mountain Time, the deadline times for Gilman are in Pacific Standard Time. So, and whether you get Gilman or not, the notification will be sent to you by email. And to be eligible for Gilman, the Gilman Scholarship, you must be an American citizen or an American national. Go to an accredited institution of higher education, be receiving the Pell Grant, or be receiving it the term you'll be studying abroad. It has to be a credit-bearing study abroad program or internship program, and proof of acceptance to said program is required before the award will be dispersed. So it's pretty simple for the eligibility requirements. Applications, there are 3 essays you must do, and you have to submit at the time of your applications. So when I was told about Gilman, we weren't really given that much information, and we were literally told last minute, so I only had 3 weeks to do it. So I thought I could do one application, one essay, and then turn it in and then do the next one. No, they give you all 3 essays at the same time. There is information on how and what they want to know in your essays, which I will also show that as well. But it was really hard to do all 3 at once. So just remember, you're going to have to turn in all 3 at the same time at the time you turn in your application. And so you have the statement of purpose essay, which is a max of 7,000 characters, and that includes spaces, by the way. The Building Mutual Understanding essay, a max of 3,000 characters, and then the follow-on service project proposal, which I believe is like a max of 2,500, but I have to double check on that one. Remember to address the prompt and theme of each essay. Don't like go off track. Don't ramble like I am now. But yeah, remember what essay is which and what you're writing for, and be very specific on that. So yeah, there are extras. There's extras to the Gilman scholarship. There's extras and great benefits and perks to being a Gilman scholar. So there's 2 more awards or scholarships you can basically get through Gilman. And the first one, as I said before, learning languages. There is a critical need language award with Gilman, which is up to $3,000 for you to be able to study a language of the country you're in that is either not spoken very widely, or that is the American government deems necessary to national security. And by the way, there is a list of those languages, and I will see if I can remember the government website that tells us like the tiers of the languages. But harder languages like Chinese, Mandarin, and Cantonese, Japanese, Korean, Cambodian, or Khmer, Tagalog, those are very high on the list. And then, of course, European languages are like somewhere in the middle. But yeah, you can get that so that you can take classes and get materials that you need to learn the language and better learn the language. You can also take the exam, which I forgot, and I will put the name of the exam somewhere up here, right here, free of charge to determine your proficiency in the language. And that's free for all critical need language recipients, by the way. And then there is for STEM, the STEM Supplemental Award, which is up to 1,000, to help supplement research and research costs abroad, like lab fees and such. I'm not a STEM major and I don't do anything in STEM. I'm terrible at it. So, but I will also put the information there. And both awards require an essay. So there is a critical need language essay for the application for that. And there is also an essay for the STEM Supplemental Award. So remember that. And so if you're going to apply for all the awards that you could get through Gilman, that would be like a total of 5 essays you would have to do. So please give yourself time and space it out, and everything you would need to do that. And I think what I thought was really awesome, and there were opportunities even before I left, is there are a lot of like conferences and seminars that you get invited to as a Gilman scholar even before you go. So one, I will say there is orientation for Gilman scholars that you can attend, but there are also like seminars for policies and issues that affect Americans that you can sign up to be a part of, and they are on Zoom. So even if you cannot get there or you're not in the area where they're having them, you can still be a part of it and contribute. So I thought that was really awesome. And then there's other activities. So before I left, I studied abroad in Italy, and before I left there was an opportunity to kind of do like a teaching thing. I can't even remember what it's called, But basically, you would do a class a week or twice a week, depending on like how you set that up. And you would teach virtually from where you are from to a class. I believe it was like K through 12, so it could be any age group, um, and teach them and tell them about your experiences abroad and things like that. I didn't not apply to it because I knew I would not have time to do it. I wanted to, but it just wasn't going to be possible for me. But the other, which also that is another application process, which also requires essays, but they're short essays, like 2 paragraph essays. There's just 3 questions you have to answer them. But do remember that would be extra time, so you would have to set out and manage your time, schedule it, and I believe it was like an hour. So, and remember that there is a time difference. So if you are sharing a dorm room, you're probably not gonna be able to do it, and that's another reason I didn't, because I shared my dorm room. And so you have to definitely think about that part. The other one, which I did take part of, and it also is short essays, 3 questions, and 1 to 2 paragraphs each. I believe like it was like a 250 character max for each question. So, but the questions are hard. So it's definitely critical thinking involved. I did the EU-US summit conference kind of thing in Brussels, Belgium, and I went in November, so I was there for American Thanksgiving, and it was awesome. It was for 3 days, 3.5 days, kind of, and they paid for our flights or our transportation there. Some people took the train, so they paid for our transportation there. We were reimbursed for like getting from the airport or train station to the hotel. The hotel was paid for. We did have breakfast at the hotel. We had lunch for one day, I think. But we did have a lot of we had a lot of free time on mine. I do know someone else that was a Gilman scholar, and they said for theirs in October they didn't have as much free time, but we had a lot of free time, I feel like. And it was people from all over the United States that were studying all around Europe, and it was a great way to network. It was really fun. I made a lot of friends, and it was just really interesting to see people's different walks of life. And then we got to learn about the European Union and the United States relations, also how the European Union works. We got to go to all the buildings. We also got to speak to a lot of influential figures that work at the EU, as well as a couple people that work at the United States Embassy. So that was really, really interesting. It was a lot of information about jobs and other programs that the United States offers that you can be a part of, especially as a Gilman scholar. So once you are a Gilman scholar, by the way, you can then go ahead and continue your education. There is Fulbright, which is for Gilman scholars. You apply. And there is Fulbright, which will help you with 1 year of research. You don't have to be in a master's program for that one, but in my head, it would make no sense to be in a master's program or not be in a master's program and then still be doing research and not get credit for it. So, but there was someone that I met at that EU-US summit that did go ahead and became a Fulbright scholar, which is really awesome for him. And honestly, it was my favorite time in Europe while I was studying abroad. Like, there was other things I liked about studying in Italy, but this was my absolute favorite thing besides seeing my best friend. So I think it is definitely worthwhile. I don't know what summits or conferences they would have in Asian countries, if they do have any, because I was a Gilman scholar studying in Europe, Western Europe. So it's definitely different things that happen for different regions. And so those would be presented to you before, those opportunities would be presented to you before you left, most likely, depending on how long your program is. But yes, that would be it. I will say one thing that was like, I wish Gilman did, was have a directory of like the other scholars in your city or country, because there were a lot of scholars I met that studied in Italy and I didn't know, and it would have been great to meet them since we were all studying mostly in Rome. So that would have been awesome. But that's the only drawback, and I only met them because I went to the EU-US summit. So that was kind of sad, but I have kept in touch with those people, and they're really, really awesome people. It's really, really comfortable, and I think it's a very, very worthwhile program, and it is a very, very beneficial program. It really did help me a lot. If I didn't get the Gilman scholarship, I would not have been able to study abroad. And I am very, very thankful for the opportunity. So yes, this was my presentation on the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship Program. And if you have any questions about Gilman Scholarship, being a Gilman Scholar, or if you need help with your application, please feel free to reach out to me. My email and all my social media will be in, well, the social media I use will be in the description box below. And I have no problem helping out with any questions you may have. So I hope this was informative, and I hope there will be a lot of people that go out for the Gilman Scholarship, especially young Black and brown people. I think it would be an awesome experience to go abroad and live not as with the stigma of being a Black American in America. So it was a very eye-opening experience. And if you would like to know anything else about my experience of studying abroad as a Black girl, or studying abroad in Italy, studying abroad in Rome, traveling in Europe, Western Europe, or being a returning student in their 30s, or studying abroad as an older student, especially an older student where I was the oldest person in my program. Everybody else was in their early 20s. Please go ahead and reach out to me, and I would be happy to either make videos on those things or talk to you personally. So thank you, and